Hey all, and welcome. My name is Sierra Cassidy, and I am a Canadian smut author here to educate and entertain smut writers and readers. Today we're going to play around with some different content, namely book recommendations. Apologies for this video being a little bit crowded, but I've had so many friends come out with awesome books lately, and I want to pack them in. I'm intending to do 2 book rec videos a month going forward, so things should be a little bit more spaced out. Now, I don't necessarily read fast enough for every single book to be a personal recommendation, but I'm not going to be yeeting books your way if I don't know that the author does good stuff. It's just that there will be some books I may not have gotten to quite yet, but still want you to have on your radar. Since it's October, most of these books will have either spooky or supernatural stories, and a fair few are monster romance. If you're interested in any of them, links for all of the books mentioned will be in the description below. Please be sure to check out content warnings before reading if you would like more information. Without further ado, let's meet some books. Into the Depths by Sierra Cassidy. I'm going to kick things off with my first monster romance, Into the Depths. This is a human woman who gets a wee bit spicy when she's afraid, paired with an agender monster that is absolutely fascinated by our leading lady and more than willing to indulge her in a little bit of sexy chasing. It's a relatively fast burn novella with some fear kink and primal play. Blurb. Finley has always had a lifelong love of the sea and the legends that came from it. When an impromptu rescue mission lands her in the good graces of a creature straight out of the stories, Finley isn't sure what to do with herself, or her desire. One legend leads to the awakening of another, and Finley gets offered the experience of a lifetime. Danger and desire fight a valiant battle. Would Finley be more the fool to accept or reject the offer? And will she follow the marrow into the depths? Now, unfortunately, this book is in the Amazon dungeon, so it's only accessible via link or directly from my author page on Amazon. If you're not familiar with the Amazon dungeon, there'll be a video about it soon, so stay tuned for that. Next up is Losers Part 1 by Harley LaRue. I was lucky enough to get an arc of Losers, and extra lucky for y'all, it's out and about in the world now. This story is a continuation of The Dare, which you should definitely read first so you can experience the full and proper vibes of Manson and the boys and their long history with Jess. Losers is dark and spicy and just wildly delightful if that's something that you're into. Blurb. I was supposed to have it all. I'd been prom queen, cheer captain, high school's most savage queen bee. I could have everything I wanted. Except them. The freaks, the weirdos, the school's ultimate losers. Manson, Jason, Lucas, and Vincent. Our hatred for each other couldn't keep us apart. Not even when my own mistake got Manson expelled and made me the ultimate villain to the rest of them. One night was supposed to be enough. I couldn't resist forever. For one night I gave myself over to the men I wasn't supposed to want, and satisfied the darkest parts of my soul. But some things are meant to stay in the dark. One night, and it was over. Nothing more than a game. Now, with college behind me, our worlds collide yet again. 4 men, all willing to share me as their plaything until my debt to them is paid. Another game to satiate my dark cravings, the twisted rules of which bring us all even closer than before. But games aren't meant to last. When the debt is paid and the game is done, what if I don't want to walk away? Losers is an 18-plus polyamorous bisexual romance between 1 woman and 4 men, including MF, MM, and group scenes. Reader discretion is strongly advised as this is a dark read. This book contains graphic sexual scenes, intense scenes of BDSM, graphic violence, and strong language. A full content note can be found in the front matter of the book. Next up is Tentacles and Triathlons by Ashley Bennett. This story is MM with a human and a monster, light enemies to lovers with our human overcoming his monsterly prejudices, so we can enjoy some fated mates goodness. It's medium-ish burn, but Ashley sneaks in some spice for us earlier on with the power of imagination. Blurb. Leviathan Fitness is the favorite place of monsters, muscles, and a tentacled creature who can seduce even the hardest to win over human. When Reese Rollins decides to sign up for a triathlon, there are 2 things holding him back. 1, his distaste for monsters. 2, his subpar swimming skills. At the urging of his sister's wolven mate, Reese joins Leviathan Fitness to train in the gym's Olympic-sized swimming pool. After running into Reese at the pool, Cyrus offers to help Reese get ready to win the race. New feelings arise from the depths as Reese and Cyrus learn that monsters and humans go together, tentacle in hand. The only question is, can these 2 hold on to their newfound love despite their differences? Next up is Surrendering to Scylla by Ren K. Morris. Do you like Greek mythology? Do you like femdom monster ladies and their sweet little human partners? Then this book is for you. Giving the maligned women of mythology their own platform to tell their stories is always going to be my jam. This story is MF and is slow-ish medium burn. Blurb. She was a sea monster who thrived on vengeance, until one soft-hearted sailor ruined it all. Scylla was a free-spirited nymph until she caught the eye of a sea god and a jilted goddess transformed her into a sea monster. She swore to take her vengeance from any male who sailed too close to her cliff, but a captive with a heart of gold ruins her plans. She can't kill him, and worse than that, she's attracted to him. Ophelos has been at the mercy of others his entire life. When a god leads his ship and crew to ruin, he awakens to find himself in the clutches of Scylla. She's terrifying and powerful, but she's also more. He finds himself empathizing with her, understanding her, falling for her. As 2 broken beings try to find solace in each other, they must let go of their pasts to move forward. If that wasn't enough, the gods aren't done meddling in their lives, and Scylla and Ophelos must challenge the very deities that cursed them in the first place to survive. Surrendering to Scylla is a standalone romance novel in a shared universe, has no cliffhanger, and ends in an HEA. A full list of tropes and content notes are available on the author's website. Next up is The Surrounding Light by Sienna Swift. This story is a why choose romance with a shifter woman and her 3 fated mates. There's MF, MM, and some group loving happening. Blurb. 2 years of being an outcast in my pack, and I'm more than ready to escape. Starting college is the ultimate chance to recreate myself, and I'm going all in. Hookup culture, parties, and maybe I can fit some studying in there too. No one needs to know that when I shift, even other wolves are scared of me. Finding out I have 3 fated mates was not part of the plan. With secrets of their own, nothing is certain. And when a tragic accident forces unspoken truths to light, it's all or nothing. Next up is The Hive by S.C. Morrison. This story is a why choose romance with an Omega FMC and MM among the love interests. Blurb. I never wanted to be an Omega. Until them. Yes, Omegas are spoiled, cherished, and protected in the lavish academy orbiting Altera. But that isn't what I want. I crave the freedom promised to graduating betas, not the luxurious captivity I was taught to expect. When my emergence is delayed, it feels like a rare stroke of luck. That is until my handsome handler assigns a pair of sexy as sins alphas to trigger my latent heat cycle. Ghost and Shadow are more than meets the eye, and they aren't alone. They bring with them a figment from my dreams that I'd been forced to forget. An alpha from my past who's even more dangerous than the others. As my instincts draw us together, dark secrets unfold, and I discover the hive isn't what it seems. The fate of the residents is far worse than I ever imagined, and to escape, I must embrace the life I never thought I wanted. Now we're on to the TBR. Their Monstrous Nature by Honor St. John. This story is a why choose monster love romance with dubcon, primal play, knife and blood play, knotting, impact play, and degradation. Blurb. I broke into a haunted house, and its monsters intend to break me in return. When I accepted a dare to spend the night in a haunted house on Halloween, Little did I know that the horrors inside weren't just urban legends. As I careen from room to room and fright to fright, my body betrays me until I can't tell the difference between horror and pleasure. Will I survive the night in this terrifying house, or will I lose my heart and my life to the terrifying creatures intent on revenge for their entrapment? Their Monstrous Natures is a very short and very smutty standalone novella with a happily ever after at the end for our heroine and her monsters. It is a fast-burning, dark romance intended for adult audiences. And if you don't already know, Honor St. John is the pen name for Poppy Jacobson, who I also recommend her mafia stories. Next up is Not Today, Satan by Calliope Stewart. This book is an MF monster romance with an accidental summoning plot and a plus-sized MC. Inside, you'll find spicy play with tails, horns, clones, wings, some nodding, nesting, and voyeurism. Blurb. An angel-costumed Omega, an accidental summoning, and one lonely devil. Art student Eden Evans is your average college-going Omega. When she's not in class, she's either painting or waiting for her alpha crush to finally notice her. That is until the annual Kappa Sigma Psi Halloween party arrives to shake things up. It's the place to be on October 31st, and Eden's art skills just landed her a coveted invite. Now all she needs to do is help decorate for the party. Easy peasy, right? Wrong. When Eden's decorating attempts summon a whole lot more than spooky vibes, her Halloween night quickly goes from fun to downright sinful. Next is Hayseed, a Scarecrow monster romance by Vera Valentine. This story is an MF novella, and even when I know nothing about a Vera Valentine story, you know I'm down to read it. No matter how wackadoodles a concept may seem, she makes it work. Blurb. What's full of ears and always listening? The Harvest Festival has come to Kern Creek again, and farm girl Maisie is excited to take in the sights, sample her favorite fall treats, and enjoy the evening. But when her out-of-control boyfriend Daniel crosses a line in a drunken rage, she flees into the dark of the cornfield to save herself. Exhausted, scared, and somehow lost in the very fields she grew up exploring, the full moon reveals an unexpected addition to the stalks. A scarecrow she's never seen before. No mere decoration, old druidic magic has given the strange straw man, Corbin, a century's reprieve on equinox night. The dark bargain he offers in turn is as intoxicating as Old Man Walker's cider and twice as sweet. But will Maisie dare accept it? Next is the Ruled by the Alpha anthology. Blurb. In a decaying universe, one fact remains. Alphas rule all. This collection of 13 OMEGAVERSE romances will transport you to gritty dystopian worlds full of violence and pleasure, where Omegas and Alphas engage in a primal dance for control. Brought to you by an amazing cast of OMEGAVERSE authors, this collection is bound to leave you panting for more. It features stories by Nora Ashe, Allison Ames, L.V. Lane, Anna Fury, V.T. Bonds, E.J. Frost, Hannah Hayes, Flora Quincy, Meryl Pierce, Raven London, Marlo Roy, and D.E. Chapman. And our final installment on the TBR list is Feral by Kit Lynn. Blurb. Wild, feral, untamed. When an injury forces me to leave the safety of my home, I am horrified to find myself captured by a group of alphas. Despite my best attempts to escape, they still refuse to let me go. To my horror, my need to flee is overcome by the desire I feel toward one gentle alpha. Del, a massive, soft-speaking wolf, isn't like the horrible alphas my brother warned me about. He's kind and protective, and my wolf desperately wants him to claim me, but I refuse to be tamed. Feral can be enjoyed as a standalone or as a part of a series. It is an MF OMEGAVERSE paranormal romance that contains some violence, dominating alphas, and very dirty words with an HEA. That is all for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. You can find all of my books and platforms in the description below, as well as links to all of the books mentioned in this video. If you have questions or suggestions for future episodes, please do let me know. And if you'd like early access to these videos, you can join my Patreon where I yeet them at people whenever they're ready to roll. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you soon for another episode.